So we're in Madrid at the FYUZ event. I'm here with Sadayuki Abeta. He is Global Head of Open RAN and OREC Evangelist at NTT Docomo. Sadayuki, thanks very much for joining us today. Good to see you.
Yeah, hello, and thank you for inviting me.
NTT Docomo is one of the pioneers really in Open RAN, and you've been using Open RAN systems in your network already for a while. Can you just give us an update on the role that Open RAN is playing in the Docomo networks?
Yeah, we launched Open RAN. That means that the fully multi-vendor interoperable radio access network from 2020. And after that, we also selected new vendors because thanks to the open interface, we can add the new vendor according to the performance and also the cost. So we add more vendor. And now is that we have 3 GNOE vendor and 4 RU vendors. So it's fully multi-vendor interoperable. So according to our deployment scenario, we can put on any equipment.
Okay, so and the scenarios maybe being in an urban area or rural area, are these the kind of different setups you have?
Yeah, exactly. So the dense urban area, you imagine the Tokyo metropolitan area, so many people we have. That's the high capacity, of course, we need, and but cell size itself is small because population is very high. But rural areas, we need the wide coverage, and population is not so large. So we according to that scenario, we choose the best RU and best CU.
Okay. So with a couple of years of experience under your belt at Docomo, are you finding now that the Open RAN technology that's available is now becoming more flexible in terms of the combinations you can have? I mean, is it easy now to bring in, if you wanted another radio unit supplier, is that relatively easy as long as the vendor is conforming to the Open RAN specs?
I think so. So from the beginning, so back to 2019, yeah, when we completed that interoperability test, it takes a long time. But recently, for example, last year, we completed interoperability between different vendors. It's just 1 week to complete the L3 call. So vendor understanding specification as well, and also that there are many test tool vendors. So it also helps to shorten the time of the interoperability test.
Okay, so the market's maturing, and that's helping operators such as yourself. Now, you've been on the agenda here at the show talking in some of the sessions, and you mentioned here that that Open RAN can deliver a greater supply chain security to operators. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how that works and why that is?
Yeah. Since we are using that multi-vendor interoperable network, that means that any place we can use a different vendors' equipment. That means when some vendors' equipment, for example, their development is delayed, or due to that semiconductor shortage, the vendor can't provide their equipment on time or significantly delayed, we still have that other vendor, and we can keep that our deployment scenario.
Okay. Now, of course, your job role also involves being involved in OREC, which is the 5G Open RAN ecosystem that NTT Docomo set up. What's the current status of OREC, and how is that developing, and how do you see it developing in the future? How can it help other operators?
Yep. So we launched the shared open lab. That means the operator can access remotely to our lab, and they can configure that. For example, that they can, if they want to use that different frequency band, they can remotely change the configurations, and also they can use a different vendor combination. So if they want to use that, for example, NEC, they choose NEC, or they want to use a Red Hat or Wind River, they can choose it. and they can do the test. So the operators do not need their own test bed. So using our equipment remotely, so then they can significantly reduce the cost and the time to see that the performance of the VLAN, for example. So, and we are already discussing that the operators, and multiple operators show their interest to use our shared lab. And we are discussing that the NDA and the MOU. So I think that then we sharing that our experience and our support. And I think that not only that our partner operator, but also ourselves, we can reduce the cost.
Okay. And within OREC, is this just the technologies that have been deployed within the Docomo network in Japan, or does that extend further? Are there other technologies that perhaps you might use in the future, or which are still in development, for example?
Yeah, not only focusing on Japan, because we are working with other operators and provide that pre-integration solution to that operators. Of course, it's up to the operators. If that they do not want to integrate by themselves, we can provide pre-integration solutions. Then they, of course, even though they don't have the capability of the integrations, we can provide pre-integration solutions. They still have that flexibility because that we have the multiple options, and we also support that multi vendors are used, so they still have the flexibility, or they have the choice. If they want to use that their own countries RU vendors, we can connect that vendor's equipment.
Okay. And then for the future, for Docomo, are you developing new capabilities in-house for your network, say on the software side and the management side, as the Open RAN ecosystem evolves and matures?
Yeah. We working in-house. We actually developed that SMO and RIC in-house.
Okay.
And this SMO actually not only focus on single vendors network. We assume that multi-vendor networks. So SMO support multi-vendors equipment.
Okay, fantastic to hear that there are ongoing developments, and many operators and others in the industry will be very interested to know what Docomo is up to, because it's a very influential operator in the market. So Sadayuki, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.